Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for November 4th, 2022, Friday, a little after 3 p.m. Eastern. We have time for we have a reverse aging health call tonight at 9 p.m. Some of us are afraid of this world. Why are we so afraid of this world? The fear of the world is really fear of love. Okay. You can relax now and stop worrying about anything in your life. You are already destined to have the most amazing life imaginable. There are already many awakened and enlightened beings on this planet, and they are multiplying by the day. Believe it or not, our future is bright and totally flawless. The mind may perceive things to be bleak or dark at times, yet our futures are brighter than 10,000 suns. No matter what has happened in your past, we are all destined for an unforgettable and amazing future. Every soul is divinely guided through this great journey. Every soul is divinely guided through this great journey in this life by a higher presence and purpose. This greater universal intelligence holds the container for us to work, play, and create anything we want with our lives. We are truly free to create anything we want, yet just as an oak seed is destined to become a full-grown tree, we are meant to grow up into living a joyful, successful life that we love. We are destined to evolve beyond our limitations. Our souls are connected with the greatest source of love, so we have the opportunity to feel more love, abundance, inner peace, joy, and bliss than ever before. Our lives can only get better when we accept this fact. Take a deep breath and inhale this enlightening information into your hearts right now. By allowing these positive, loving thoughts into your hearts, we are making the move to become aligned with our destinies. When we entertain these positive, self-loving thoughts through the heart-mind, the instant we wake up each morning, we start our day with being the master of our mind. Each morning we allow for just one positive sensation about ourselves, and we are reborn. Our lives are a school for learning how to let go of fear and let in love. Each day is a gift teaching us how to receive more trust, success, and compassion. When we are 100% aligned with our highest destiny, we can say that the universe is like a magical pot of gold, which is continuously pouring infinite riches into our lives every day. And as Ramana Maharishi has stated, he who thinks he is the doer is also the sufferer. The great golden key to manifesting a successful life is learning how to always remain receptive and open to the gift of the present moment, the now. When we can stay in a place of curiosity and wonder, life gives us great power and wisdom in return. By trusting every moment of this life, we are allowing our inner guidance to show us the way. Our minds will be quiet, and we will be able to hear exactly what we most need to do to reach our greatest success and highest potentiality in this life. In order to truly listen to this divine inner wisdom, we must be relaxed in our bodies. And any of us can start right now by consciously releasing any tension in our body. And to do it as often as you can, as often as possible. Letting go of everything that we are trying to control and breathe. This conscious relaxation opens our minds and hearts, allowing us to feel the great love and destiny that is inside of us all. This creates immediate access to our divine guidance, and it will naturally help us find our way in the darkest of times. A deeply relaxed body and open mind creates a foundation of freedom inside us that is unshakable. We will become like a mountain of peace, which has the ability to know the divine beings we truly are. It is imperative that we establish this relaxed way of being in our lives, and we will be able to navigate through any circumstances life gives us. If we really want to know how ridiculously wonderful and awesome our lives can be, merge the feeling of deep relaxation with the knowledge that you are powerful, manifesting being who can create anything you want. We are a manifesting machine, which is always manifesting whatever we are thinking about, whatever we're thinking about. So focus on everything you want and ignore what you don't want. And that's a tricky one, because we get sucked into anger, frustration, pressure, stress, anxiety very easily. Something can just tick it off like that. And a lot of the times we are aware of it because it just sweeps us in. It literally pulls us in. And it's a downward spiral, and not understanding that what we're attracting is what we don't want. So more things appear to agitate the very thing you don't want. And people will say, oh, I know that, but I'm just really angry and blah, 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 blah. But you're attracting more of the same. Take that energy and direct it towards what you want, not what you don't want. It's not difficult. It really isn't. Let's say that it isn't difficult, but for many of us it is, because we're so used to focusing on what we don't want. In fact, we've done it so long and so many lifetimes that it's comfortable for us to be that way. Isn't that right? It's comfortable for us to focus on what we don't want. We're used to it. When we apply the very, very, very old secret laws of manifestation, we can attract any situation, person, amount of money, and miraculous experience to us. Now, isn't it interesting? Because then people are told, well, you can't ask for that because that's too much. That's greedy. Or you can't ask for this, or you don't deserve that. You won't get that. And that's all society. You can have anything you want. And you'll soon experience the most profound life you could have ever imagined. It's already yours. This is our lifetime to shine, to be glorious beings of light who are truly alive, empowered, in love, and free. Matter is energy. Energy is light. We are all light beings. Matter is energy. Energy is light. We are all light beings. Albert Einstein. The God within these bodies that we all are energy. And we are pure light energy. And when you get off the nail, okay, a lot of us are laying on a nail, and it's poked into us, right, into our bodies. And at first it hurt. It really did. Bled, hurt. But as we laid there, we got more and more used to it. And as we got more and more used to it, we accepted it. Oh, at times you move a certain way and you could feel the hurt there, right? But then we get used to it, and then we get comfortable with it. And then what happens is that some energies come along and say, hey, Frank, get off that nail. And Frank goes, no, I'm afraid it's going to hurt too much to get off the nail. So I'm just going to stay here. Frank, your life is going to be so much more than you can imagine if you get off that nail. And Frank was afraid to get off the nail because he's afraid how much it's going to be painful to move off of that nail. And many of us are like that because we've been conditioned. Right? Is it a bad thing? No, it's not a bad thing. But the discovery of it is huge. Because many of us are lying on that nail. And we're afraid to get off the nail because we're afraid it's going to hurt too much. I know that might sound strange, but it's what we do. So we get used to things. And then we get comfortable with things. Now, you remember when you were a kid, right? You usually, most of us were always moving, right? Always moving forward. And we didn't know any better, so we took risks. And we didn't even know they were risks. We just did it because it sounded fun, right? But as time goes by and the body gets older and grows, we are influenced by the society that's in place. So all this is dumped on us. And before long, we aren't taking risks anymore. We're too fearful of risks when we should be taking risks all the time. But we're too fearful of it, so we lie on the nail eventually, and we stay on the nail. Something comes along with North. At one point, you would have said, yeah, I'm all for it. Let's do it. But now,
No, I'm not really interested in that. Because what are we worried about? Okay, as time goes by, we worry about being provided for. That's what we worry about. Most of the people on this planet worry. It gets to a certain point, right, that we're in these bodies, and then we worry. None of us are exempt from it. We worry about staying in the body, right? And we worry about how we're going to take care of ourselves. Now, what does that do? It's pretty simple. It sends the energy out to the universe to say, this is what I don't want. But you're focused on what you don't want. Boom. The universe gives you more of what you don't want. So then some of us discover this. Why in the heck would I put my energies worrying about leaving the body? Worry about how I'm going to keep a roof over my head when I would prefer to focus my energies on moving forward and focusing on what I do want. You see, the difference is huge, yet there's that ego mind, that fear that kind of goes, no, you don't do that. Don't do that. Don't get off this nail. It's going to be excruciating pain, and you'd be better off just staying on this nail. So, many of us do. And we leave the body, and then we'll incarnate, 100, 200 years later into another body and start it all over again. So the turn, right? You're a stop sign. You can go straight on and focus on what you do want, or you can go to the right, focus on what you don't want, and on the left, stay on the nail. You have a choice. And every now and then it comes up in our lives where that choice is given to us, because we created it for ourselves. So do we go forward? That means we have to get off the nail, right? And no one can make you get off the nail. You're the one that has to get off the nail. And also, the one on the right, focus on what you don't want, focusing on what you don't want. You got to give that up too. So you say to yourself, I'm going to go forward. From this day forward, I will make it every day to condition myself to my devotion to me, to constantly focus on what I do want. No matter what's going on around me, no matter if something ticks me off, no matter if I'm rubbed the wrong way, no matter if I get frightened about what's happening around me, okay? I will focus on what I do want, because I am a super powerful, supreme being, pure light energy in this body, omnipotently powerful, and I can manifest anything I want. This is not arrogance, right? It's not ego mind. It's heart mind. So the heart dictates to the head at that point. So you visualize and you say, this is what I want, universe, and here it is. Boom, 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 boom. And you just let it go, and it goes out there, and the universe starts forming it. Moving energy into form, creating it into reality, and experiencing it. And that's it. Boom, it's done. Once in a while, you will say, I know this is coming. I have all the trust and faith in the universe. And confidence in the universe. I have all the trust and faith and confidence in myself. So what's left? Let it do its thing. It'll be here. It will be here. It's only when we slip back onto the nail and we start questioning and doubting and worrying and stressing and fearing, and our patience wanes, and the rest is history. then we gravitate back to sitting on the nail, lying on the nail. So it's a choice for all of us, any one of us. It's a choice that we make. No matter how the ego mind makes you feel that it's silly, that it is useless, that it's not going to do anything because you've tried it before. These are all things that the ego mind will do everything in its power to keep you off of that direction. Being in the now. Being gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. And be in deep gratitude 24/7. Those are absolutely powerful practices to get yourself devoted to, where it becomes automatic every day for you. It would be the first thing you do before you even stir out of bed. Put your hands over your heart. Say to yourself how deeply grateful you are for this day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You don't have to jump out of bed like a jumping bean. You just kind of ease out of bed because of your confidence and your faith and your trust in you. And for all of us, it's practice. Society has structured us a certain way. Lying on the nail. That's what society does for us. We, on the other hand, have the choice to say, I'm not going to lay on the nail anymore. It's not going to hurt that bad, and I'll just pull myself off the nail and get rid of that darn thing once and for all and start moving forward. And focus on what I do want. Take risks. Focus on what I want. And when you take a risk, doesn't mean that all risks work out, see? And you know that. But that's part of our adventure as being in these bodies in this life. It's our adventure. But we all know if we practice something enough, right? You get in a habit. We all do it one shape, form, or another at times. But once you get there, you begin to realize that, hey, wait a minute. Now, we know this, is that we know what Buddha means, okay? To be a Buddha is to be enlightened. It is the most ordinary phenomenon. Now, when I say ordinary, I mean it must be so. If it looks extraordinary, it is because of you. Because you create so many hurdles and you love them. First you create the obstacle, then you try to cross it. Then you feel very elated. In the first place, there is no obstacle, but your ego will not feel good. So you must choose to create a long route to come to the point that was the nearest, the most intimate one. And you had never missed it. So don't seek something mysterious. Just be simple and innocent, and then the whole existence opens to you. And the plus is you won't go mad. You can simply smile at the absurdity of the whole thing that was so near, but you could not attain it. And there was no barrier. It was, in a sense, always within you. It was a miracle how you went on missing. Now, if the emptiness is real, all that is there, the whole of it, reality, will be open to you. Not that it is closed right now. It is open. You are closed. your mind is occupied. When your mind is empty, unoccupied, you'll be open to it, and there will be a meeting. And then everything is beautiful in its total ordinariness. Hence, it is said that one who has known becomes absolutely ordinary. He is one with reality. To be hankering for the special is the way of the ego. And all the ways of the ego create gaps and distances between you and the real. So you choose to be empty and everything will have happened to you. But don't wait for anything special. And nirvana is nothing special. And when I say this, what is happening in your mind? When I say nirvana is nothing special, what do you feel? How do you feel? You feel a little disappointed? In the mind, the question must arise, then why struggle? Then why make any effort? Then why meditate? Then why these techniques? Look at that mind. That mind is the problem. The mind wants something special. And because of that desire, the mind goes on creating special things. And in reality, there is nothing special. Either the whole of reality is special or nothing is special. Because of this desire, the mind has created heavens, paradises. And it is not satisfied with one. It goes on creating many. Christians have one heaven. Hindus have 7. Because there are so many good people, there must be a hierarchy. Where should the supreme good go? There's no end to it. In Buddha's days, there was a sect who believed in 700 heavens. As I've said before, you have to place the egos. The highest ego must go to the highest heaven, right? This is what we're all doing. We have a conception of something special in the end, and because of that special, we go on moving. But remember, because of that special, you are not moving anywhere at all. You are moving in desires. And the movement in desire is not a progress. It is a circular. Now, if you can still meditate, knowing well that nothing special is going to happen, then you will just come to a reconciliation with the ordinary reality that you will be in harmony with this ordinary reality. If with this mind you can meditate, then enlightenment is possible in this very moment. But with this mind, you won't feel like meditating. You will say, if nothing special is going to happen, leave it all. And a lot of people say, I've been meditating for quite a while and nothing has happened yet. A desire. And that desire is the barrier. And it can happen in a single moment if desire is not there. So don't desire the mysterious. Really. Don't desire anything. Just be at ease, at home, with reality as it is. Be ordinary. Be ordinary is wonderful. Because then there is no tension, no anguish. To be ordinary is very mysterious because it is so simple. It's like we have said, work is end-oriented, not enough in itself. It must lead somewhere, to some happiness, to some goal, to some end. It is a bridge, a means. In itself, it is meaningless. The meaning is hidden in the goal. And we can repeat this over and over again. Play is totally different. There is no goal to it, or it itself is the goal. Happiness is not beyond it, outside it. To be in it is to be happy. It will not give you any happiness outside of it. There is no meaning beyond it. All that is there is intrinsic and internal. You play not because of any reason, but because you enjoy it right now. It is purposeless. That's why only children can play, really. The more you grow, the less capable you become of playing because of more and more purpose. More and more you ask why. Why should I play? You become more and more end-oriented. Something must be achieved through it. In itself, it has no meaning. Intrinsic value loses meaning for you. Only children can play because they don't think of the future. They can be here, in the now, timelessly. Work is time. Play is timeless. Remember that. Work is time. Play is timeless. And meditation must be like play, not end-oriented. You must choose not to meditate to achieve something because then the whole point is lost. You cannot meditate at all if you are meditating for something. You can meditate only if you are playing with it, enjoying it. If nothing is to be achieved out of it, if it is beautiful in itself. Meditation for meditation's sake. Then it becomes timeless, and the ego cannot arise. Without desire, you cannot project yourself into the future. Without desire, you cannot start expectations. And without desire, you will never be disappointed. Without desire, time really disappears. You move from one moment of eternity to another moment of eternity. There is no sequence. And then you will never ask why nothing special is happening. Now, most have not come to know the mystery yet. The very play is the mystery. Being timeless, desireless is the mystery. And to be ordinary is the goal. If you allow the word, to use the word, to be ordinary is the goal. If you can be ordinary, you are liberated, and there is no samsara. If you, for you, no world for you, this whole world is a struggle to be extraordinary. It is when any of us strive to be extraordinary, look at the stress, the pressure, the tension, anxiety. Some try it in politics. Some try it in economics. Some try it in religion. But the lust remains the same. The lust remains the same. What is innocence? Does being innocent require one to live a simple life? Innocence is a state of thoughtless awareness. It is another name for no mind. It is the very essence of Buddhahood. We become attuned to the ultimate law of things. We stop fighting. We start flowing with it. The cunning mind fights because it is through fight that the ego arises. And the cunning mind can exist only around the ego. They can only be together. They are inseparable. If the ego disappears, the cunning mind disappears. And what is left is innocence. If you're fighting with life, like most are, if you're going against the current, like most are, if you're not natural, spontaneous, if you are living out of the past and not in the present, you are not innocent. To live according to the past is to live an irresponsible life. It is the life of reaction. You don't see what a situation is. You simply go on repeating your old solutions, and problems are new every day, every moment. Life goes on changing, and the mind remains static. That is the whole problem, that the mind remains a static mechanism, and life is a constant flux. Hence, there can be no communication between life and the mind. Now, if you remain identified with the mind, you will remain almost dead. You will not have any share in the joy that overwhelms existence. You will not be a participant in the celebration that is continuously going on. The birds singing, the trees dancing, the rivers flowing. You also have to be a part of this whole. You want to be separate. You want to prove yourself higher than others, superior to others. Then you become cunning. It is only through cunningness that you can prove your superiority. And it is a dream. It is phony. Because in existence, there is nobody who is superior and nobody who is inferior. The blade of grass and the great star are absolutely equal. Existence is fundamentally communist. Absolutely, there is no hierarchy. But man wants to be higher than others. He wants to conquer nature. Hence, he has to continuously fight. All complexity arises out of this fight. The innocent person is one who has renounced fighting, who is no longer interested in being higher, who is no longer interested in performing and proving that he or she is something special, who has become like a rose flower or like a dewdrop on the lotus leaf, who has become part of this infinity, who has melted, merged, and become one with the ocean, and is just a wave, who has no idea of the I. The disappearance of the I is innocence. Hence, innocence cannot require you to live a simple life. Innocence cannot require anything of you. All requirements are cunning. All requirements are basically to fight, to be somebody. Innocence simply lives without any idea of how to live. Bring in the how, and you become complex. Innocence is a simple response to the present. Ideas are accumulated past. How Buddha lived. Live like that, and you will be a Buddhist. How Jesus lived. Live like that, and you'll be a Christian. But then you will be imposing something upon yourself. Existence never creates two persons alike. Each individual is unique. So if you impose Jesus upon yourself, you'll be a phony. All Christians are bound to be phonies. All Hindus, all Jainas, all Buddhists. Because they are trying to be somebody that they cannot be. You can't be Gautam Buddha. You can be a Buddha, but not Gautam Buddha. Buddha means awakened, enlightened. That is our birthright. But Gautam is an individual. You'll be a Christ, but you can't be Jesus Christ. Jesus is individual. Christ is another name for Buddhahood. It is the ultimate state of consciousness. And it is possible. That is our potential. We can bloom and flower into Christ consciousness. But we can never be Jesus. That is not possible. All is good. That is not possible. But that's how so-called religions people have lived, trying to follow somebody else, imitating. Now, an imitator cannot be simple. He constantly has to adjust life to his ideas. A really innocent person goes with life. He simply flows with life. He has no goal as such. If you have a goal, you can't be innocent. You will have to be clever, cunning, manipulating. You will have to plan. You will have to follow certain maps. How can you be innocent? You'll be carrying so much rubbish from others. You will be just a carbon copy of Jesus or Buddha or Mahavira. You will not be the original. Bodhidharma, I said again and again and again, find your original face. And the only way to find your original face is to drop all limitation. Who is going to decide what the requirement is? Who is going to decide what the requirement is? Nobody can decide.
And any decision is bound to disturb because life may not turn out the way you expect it to. It never really turns out the way it is expected to. Life is a constant surprise. We cannot compare beforehand. Life needs no rehearsal. We have to choose to be spontaneous. This is innocence. Now, if we are spontaneous, we cannot be Christian, and we cannot be Hindu, and we cannot be Buddhist. We have to be a simple human being. Simplicity is not a requirement, but a byproduct of innocence. It comes just like your shadow. You don't try to be simple. If you try to be simple, the very effort destroys simplicity. You cannot cultivate simplicity. A cultivated simplicity is superficial. Simplicity has to follow you like a shadow. You need not bother about it. You need not look back again and again and again to see whether the shadow is following you or not. The shadow is bound to follow you. Attain innocence, and simplicity comes as a gift from the existence. And innocence means becoming a mind, a no mind, a no ego, dropping all ideas of goals, achievements, ambitions, living just as it happens in the moment. This doesn't mean to be celibate. One day celibacy can happen, but it will not be something to be practiced. It will be something that you will see happening. And certainly, before one becomes a Buddha, one becomes celibate. But that is not a requirement. Remember, again and again and again, it is not a requirement that you have to fulfill so that you will become a Buddha. So if you simply go on becoming more aware of your mind, as the mind starts disappearing and becomes more and more distant from you, as you become unified with the mind, and you start seeing that you are separate, that you are not the mind, you will find many things happening with this disappearance of the mind. You will start living moment to moment because it is the mind that collects the past. You cannot depend on it. Your eyes will be clear, not covered with the dust of the past. You will be free from the dead past. And one who is free from the dead past is free to live authentically, sincerely, passionately, intensely. One can become a flame with life and its celebration. But the mind is continuously distorting, continuously interfering, continuously telling you, do this, do that. It is like a schoolmaster. A meditator becomes free of the mind. And once the past is no longer dominating you, the future simply disappears. Because the future is nothing but a projection of the past. In the past, you have experienced certain pleasures, and you would like to repeat them again and again and again. That is your projection for the future. In the past, you have been through many miseries. Now you project onto the future that you don't want those miseries again. Your future is nothing but a modified form of the past. Once the past is gone, the future is gone. Then what is left? The moment, this now. To live in the now and in the here is innocence. You cannot follow religious commandments if you really want to be innocent. Excuse me. A man who constantly has to think about what to do and what not to do, a man who is constantly worried about what is right and what is wrong, cannot live innocently. Even if he goes on doing right according to his conditioning, it is not right. He is simply following others. How can it be right if there is a right and wrong? It may have been right for them, but what was right for one person 2,000 years ago can't be right for you today. So much water has gone down the Ganges. Life is never the same for even 2 consecutive seconds. You cannot step twice in the same river. You cannot step even once in the same river. The river is so fast and flowing. An innocent person gives and lives not according to certain requirements imposed by the society, church, state, parents, education. The innocent person lives out of his or her own being responsibly. He responds to the situation that is confronting him. He takes the challenge. He accepts the challenge and does whatever in this moment is being his being wants to do, not according to certain principles. The innocent man has no principles, no ideology. The innocent man is absolutely unprincipled. The innocent man has no character. He is absolutely characterless. Because to have character means to have a past. To have character means to be dominated by others. To have character means that the mind is still the dictator and you are just a slave. To be characterless, to be unprincipled, and to live in the moment, just as the mirror reflects whatever is in front of the mirror, your consciousness reflects and you act out of that reflection. That is awareness. That is meditativeness. That is samadhi. That is innocence. That is godliness. That is Buddhahood. So there are no requirements for innocence, not even the requirement to live a simple life. You can live a simple life. You can force a simple life upon yourself. It will not be simple. And you can live in a place with all the luxuries, but if you live in the moment, you will be living a simple life. You can live like a beggar, and you will not be simple. If your effort to be a beggar is something that you have imposed upon yourself, if it has become your character, then you are not simple. And once in a while, it has happened that even a king has lived a simple life. Simple, not in the sense that he did not have the palace and the possessions. They were there. But he was not possessive. This has to be understood. We may not have any possessions yet. We may be possessive. Possessiveness can exist without possession. If that is so, then the opposite is also true. Non-possessiveness can exist with all kinds of possessions. One can live in the palace and yet be totally free of it. Remember the difference. The difference is not in possession. The difference is in possessiveness. A simple person is not one who possesses nothing. A simple person is one who has no possessiveness, who never looks back. This simplicity cannot be practiced. This simplicity can come only as a consequence of innocence. If you repress, and that's what cultivation is, then it will start coming in another form from somewhere else. You will become more and more complex in this way, more and more cunning and calculating in this way, more disciplined, more with a character which people respect and honor. If you want to enjoy your ego, the best way is to be a holy man. But if you really want to celebrate existence, the best way is to be absolutely ordinary, utterly ordinary, and live the ordinary life with no pretensions. Live moment to moment. That is innocence. And innocence is enough. Don't try to become simple. Millions of people have tried. They have not become simple at all. On the contrary, they have become very, very, very complex, entangled in their own jungle, their own ideas. Get out of the mind. That is innocence. Be a no mind. That is innocence. And everything else follows. And when everything else follows, it has a beauty of its own. Cultivated. It is plastic, synthetic, not natural. When it comes uncultivated, it is a grace. It is a benediction. Oftentimes, maybe you have come across people, right, in your travels. And you may come across somebody in their 80s, where you would say, that's a mature person, right? And then, through interaction, you find that they're not mature. And what are the qualities of a mature person? The qualities of a mature person are very strange. First, he is not a person. He is no longer a self. He has a presence, but he is not a person. Second, he is more like a child, simple and innocent. That's why I said the qualities of a mature person are very strange. Because maturity gives a sense that he has experience and that he is aged and old. Physically, he may be old, but spiritually, he is an innocent child. His maturity is not just experience gained through life. Then he will not be a child, and then he will not be a presence. He will be an experienced person, knowledgeable but not mature. Maturity has nothing to do with your life experiences. It has something to do with your inward journey, experiences of the inner. The deeper he goes into himself, the more mature he is. When he has reached the very center of his being, he is perfectly mature. But at that moment, the person disappears. Only a presence remains. The self disappears. Only silence remains. Knowledge disappears. Only innocence remains. Maturity is another name for realization. You have come to the fulfillment of your potential. It has become actual. The seed has come on a long journey and has now blossomed. Maturity has a fragrance. It gives a tremendous beauty to the individual. It gives intelligence, the sharpest possible intelligence. Makes him nothing but love. His action is love. His inaction is love. His life is love. His death is love. He is just a flower of love. The West has definitions of maturity, which are very childish. The West means by maturity that you are no longer innocent, that you have ripened through life experiences, that you cannot be cheated easily, that you cannot be exploited, and you have within you something like a solid rock, a protection, a security. The definition is very ordinary, very worldly, yes. In the world, you will find mature people of this type. But the way I see maturity is totally different, diametrically opposite to this definition. That maturity will not make you a rock. It will make you so vulnerable, so soft, so simple. Maturity will not make you a rock. It will make you so vulnerable, so soft, and so simple. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. There is absolutely no more need to be stuck. The same old stagnant patterns of our minds are a delusion. We are not stuck anywhere. All we need to do is wake up. We are divine beings of the God. Make the commitment to ignore that old path of lacking money, love, empowerment, and freedom. Don't you already feel hopeless and pathetic enough? For today, practice saying yes to the experience of having access to love, joy, and total freedom. Choose to feel free in your work or lack of work. Choose to feel free in your amazing relationships or your lack of amazing relationships. Choose to feel free in your health or your lack of health. Commit yourself to feeling free. You are free to feel, think, imagine, believe anything you want. Claim it today. This is your freedom. You are free to say out loud right now, I am the God force, powerful, alive, and free. I am the God force, powerful, alive, and free. Say it with gusto, through the heart mind, as often as you'd like. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, and the following morning. We'll return here Saturday, November 5, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. 9 p.m. Eastern tonight to continue our reverse aging health call.